Good morning and welcome to Barb's Craft Room. I wanted to help everyone who is just starting making cards. And I thought to myself, well, I see all these videos out there of people showing you how to make cards, but it doesn't start that way. So, anyway, bear with me here. I'm going to put you up here. Let me turn my camera around. Put you up here on my holder. And what I'm going to show you here is we all have paper. All kinds of paper. So I have this paper, and 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 I have this. Okay, so we all have paper. So the hard part is, well, what paper would I like to make a card out of? So let's just pick one. I'm going to pick this one. And this is how I go about it. So I'm opening this paper. It's Stampin' Up, of course, because I just love how they coordinate everything. And I'm going to show you how they do that. So first, I pick a paper. This paper is called Painted Illusions, and it's a designer series paper. Has front and back, and oh my goodness, is that just something? And it's all the same front and back. So you can either have all flowers or all whatever this is. And the other, so you get 1, 2, 3 of that kind. You have this kind, 1, 2, 3. Or you have this one, 1, 2, 3. Or this one with that on the back. So that's my choices. So I have this beautiful papers here, but I want to make a card. Well, the Beautiful Illusions, they also have this really cool, no, that doesn't go with it. They have on the back of this paper, and tells you what papers go with it. So, Darling Duckling is a new color coming out in May. Flirty Flamingo and gotta find it. Right here. Which I'm running out of Flirty Flamingo. And I take my papers and I put them all in a bag like that, and everything that goes with it, so the color stays together. Granny Apple Green. Which is right here. And Lost Lagoon. Lost Lagoon. Misty Moonlight. Misty Moonlight. And I'm not prepared, so I have to look where my colors are. And if I find them, I bring them over to you. So Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, Petal Pink. That's a really, really soft color. Petal Pink. Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock. So, as I'm going to decide what colors, what card I'm going to make, I bring out all these colors. And then, when I start to make the card, I can choose which color I want to go with which paper. But then there's also, well, what kind of card is it going to be? Is it going to be a birthday card, a thank you card, a get well card, a congratulation card? Just not sure. Well, Stampin' Up! Has these new packages. I haven't used this yet. It's called Lovely Arrangements. And that is a lovely, I think it'd be really pretty, happy birthday. There's also just a note, sending smiles, always here for you. This will work for any of the cards. So I'm going to use this particular stamp set. Also, all these colors that are in this paper here are also in ink. So the ink for this really pretty darling duckling coordinates so nicely. So let me show you an idea. To make this card, first of all, I decide I'm going to have a basic white card as the background. The basic white card, 8.5 by 11. The basic card is half of that, either at 5.5 or at 4.25, all the way down. Which kind of card would I like to have? One that opens this way or one that opens this way? I typically make the cards that go like this. This is basically what I seem to always do. It's just so easy. Then I'm going to use 1/2 of this as the card base. And 1/2 of it. Now I can make 2 cards, but then I'm going to need some kind of scrap to stamp my greeting, my sentiment on the card. So I'm just going to use this other half. Move these over here. I'm going to use this other half to stamp what's on here. So this is the new way of Stampin' Up! Is going to be sending stamps, and they want you to file them, I guess, like this. You just keep these stamps in here. This basic, very thin, it'll fit on a shelf really nicely. So what I'm going to do here I think I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. These flowers, what color flowers? The pretty flower, I think, would be Flirty Flamingo, or even yellow. That yellow would be pretty flower. Flamingo, okay. Flamingo or yellow? Let's try the yellow. The Darling Duckling. I've never used this ink yet. Well, this is last year's in color, 25 to 27. I haven't ever used it, so I might as well try it. I'm going to take this flower, tap, 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 tap. And before I stamp it, these kind do much better on a foam pad. I'm going to stamp it. That's pretty. I think I want to do at least 3. I'll show you why. Then I'm going to use this other small flower. I'm going to stamp it 3 times. I do believe that I might have a dye for these. Of course, you want to wash them off. It's really easy to wash these off all at the same time for me. So I'm just putting them off to the side. I'll clean them later. So those are my flowers. I'm going to put that back. The green that is used over here is Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to use Granny Apple Green for this leaf. I stamp everything in 3s. Whether I need them or use them or not, I stamp them in 3s. Those are very pretty. Then the sentiment, I have to decide what I'm going to use. Well, for me, I send a very lot of happy birthday cards. So I'm going to stamp happy birthday on there. Just 1 time, not 3. Then I'm going to put this aside for later. Now this yellow flower isn't really colored in. Doesn't really pop. So what would you do to make it stand out? Here's the tricky part. You can either go ahead and color it in with that Darling Duckling, or you could color it in with something else. Let's just give me a second here. I'm thinking it had Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to see what it looks like with Flirty Flamingo. Am I crazy? Probably. What about Pretty in Pink? I'm thinking it will be Pretty in Pink. So now I have a yellow and Pretty in Pink flower. And you don't have to do this like I'm doing. I'm just testing the waters here. See if I like it. I might not even like it. Just never know. And this is a blends, and it's the light color. And so that's what it would look like in this pink, pretty in pink. Did I mess up? Maybe. And maybe not. Like I said, I had no plan. I'm testing the waters and trying all of it. It's called Play As You Go. No mistakes here. I always play around just to see if I like what I'm doing or not. I will probably only do this one in pink. Only one. It'll be the focus point. I'm going to do the other ones in yellow, I think. That is really pretty, though. I don't have the blends in that color at all. But I do have a marker, the Stampin' Write marker, which they're not making any more of, by the way. I like the Stampin' Write markers, and I use them, but they're not going to make them anymore. They feel like they're obsolete. I don't see how, but I feel like it was obsolete. You know how wood stamps, everybody loves their wood stamps. And I don't know how many years ago it was, they started coming out with photopolymer stamps. And I was using wood stamps. And my husband bought me for Christmas some photopolymer stamps. And I was like, why'd you buy me these? I like wood stamps. And he said, well, the lady at the store said these were the new way of stamps coming out. I was like, oh. So I knew years ago that they were changing. Oh, that is really pretty though, isn't it? That is really pretty. Maybe I will keep it. Anyway, well, let me see if I have die cuts that go with that. I have no die cuts that go with it. Okay, so the next thing you do is fussy cutting. Well, they call the fussy cutting is when you follow the line exactly. And I'm going to leave a little bit of white around mine, and they call that kiss cutting. So you're not really cutting it on the line, you're leaving a little white. And when you turn your paper, not your scissors, it's a lot easier to cut out than if you were to stay on the line. It would be a little harder, and you don't have to worry about too much space being left or not enough space being left, or it just gives you a little bit of easier way to cut, I think. Okay, so here it is, the flower. Okay, we're going to make a card now. Basically, what I'd like to use, I think, we're test out the waters here. This would really pop on yellow, Darling Duckling. That would really pop. It could also pop. It could look okay with that. I'm not a fan. It would stand out even on this pretty blue. Right? I think I have an idea. We are going to look at these papers. Busy, way too busy. These are all way too busy for what I want. However, I am going to take, this is the one I wanted to use. Yes, this one. I really like this particular pattern. I'm going to cut this at 4 1/4. No, I'm going to cut it at 4. 4 inches by 5 1/4. 4 inches by 5 1/4. This will be my first layer. See there? That ruins it. That is why it's the first layer. On top of this, I think what would be really pretty is not that. For some reason, I went to this Misty Moonlight. Let me see what this looks like. Oh my. And it pulls it together. That's a good, to me, that's a good choice. We could also try the Granny Apple Green, which is also a good choice. And move it away from the blue and by itself. That is really pretty. I kind of like that. So my card is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. This is 4 by 5 1/4. This one is 3, and I think if I make it 3 by, what's that? 3 by 4. Let's try 3 by 4. I'm not wasting paper. Just going to use what I got. See what happens. 3 by 4. Then it looks framed, doesn't it? 3 by 4. And I can either create on the green, or I could get white and put white on there and create on the white. Well, let me just create on the green to start with. I need some leaves. And I'm going to cut this out so that I have a picture of what I'm going to do here. I hope I'm not making this more complicated, but this is me and how I design a card before it gets to the point where, hey, we're going to make this card and you need this paper, this paper, this paper. It's not that easy. You have to decide. There's so many decisions to make. It's not as easy as let's just make this card, you know? There's the leaf. And so my idea here, before I color in all the flowers and all the leaves, my idea that I was dreaming up in my head was to have 3 actual flowers on the card. I'm not sure. I think I wanted to have 2 yellow ones and 1 pink one. But the only yellow I have in the blends is not one of, it's not one of Darling Duckling. So that's starting to look pretty. Not sure which flower I want on the other end. It's going to be, I really want it to be yellow. So I might have to use a different yellow. Why not? That's how it coordinates. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's exactly the color. Obviously, that one's pink. It still looks good together. Well, let's move this up here. I'm not sure. If they're yellow, I want them yellow. Maybe oh, there we go. Put that one there. And it can be sitting in the middle. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. And since I have 3, if I had a die to cut these, or if I had a Cricut scan and cut, it would be so much easier, but I have neither. So it's hand cutting. If you cannot hand cut for whatever reason, I know there are a lot of people out there that have health issues that prevent them from doing what I'm doing. I have always tried to cut. I was a preschool teacher and we cut all of our craft stuff out for the littles. Oh, that is, oh my gosh. The more I add to this, the prettier it looks to me, and the more I want to keep going. I have been making cards since 2006, so that's about 20 years. I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator not that long. Oh yeah. So that looks really pretty. I really like that. Of course, I'm going to color those yellow. Let's do that now in the color that I want. I think I have this color called Lemon Lolly. And it's a lighter yellow, but it will look really pretty on here. I'm not normally a yellow fan, but for some reason, when spring comes, I like yellow. And it's spring. So yellow it is. But we're going to make these look a little bit more like a flower by using this Darling Duckling and just outlining it. The difference in the outline is that it makes it pop a little, makes it look a little bit more like, I wish when I stamped it, it was this dark, but it's not. The blends, the Stampin' Up! Blends are alcohol markers, and they are a lot nicer than I really like them. They have a paint tip. But I don't have it in the Darling Duckling. Don't ask me why. I don't know why I didn't order it. I probably still can. It's still an in color, and it's still available until 2027. Normally when I order in colors, I order all. I order the paper, the ink, the blends, the refill inks, everything that is needed for that particular color, so that I have the whole entire collection. It's just really beneficial. There's a reason to have each color in all of the paper, ink, and it makes more sense to have it that way, you know. So we're not having it. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. I don't see these little dots in here. I'm sure they're not exactly on the dot. I'm just pretending here. There. That looks better. Okay. I'm also going to add dimensional so they will pop up on the card. I haven't taken it off yet. I haven't taken off they're not actually sticking yet. I wanted to see what it looked like. Oh, so that's really pretty, yes? Yes, it is. Thank you for that idea. I like that idea very much. Now all I need to do is add the happy birthday. I have a punch called a banner. Let me see. I'm hoping it'll fit. It'll fit it. That's probably not available because that's the way it usually is. This is called Classic Label Punch. If you don't have a classic label punch, you can just cut it out. Punched it out, just like that. Simple as that. And it went right here. And I have this green sponge over here. That Granny Apple, where are you at? You know, when you do junk journals, everything gets this color highlight on it, and it just makes it look so much cooler. There we go. Had to get enough ink on here. Okay. So I have that. And I'm going to now glue it down. So I used the Designer Series paper as a background paper. You can use it as your main paper if you want. You don't have to have it as a background, but I just thought it would be pretty as a background. I could have done it vice versa and had the green in the background and then this size and then white, and I could have done it the same thing, just a little different. There's so many ways to rearrange and arrange your card patterns and papers. It's really entirely up to you on what you like, how you like it. This, again, I'm going to get rid of some of that bold white out there. I'll show you how. Not a fan of the white. Make it color it in a little. I'm running out of glue. Well, at least this one is. I hope I'm putting it in the spot where it was supposed to be. Dunno. You won't see most of this anyway. I'm going to wait on the other two just so I make sure that I put them in the proper position. I think it was something like that. But I'm going to put these flowers in here. These I know where I wanted them. Yeah. And that stands up really makes it really pretty. You could probably ink the edges on all of these. Pretty. Glue. And glue. Pretty, huh? And so this one, I can either glue it down or I could pop it up. And because the flowers are popped up and I think that I want them to stay in the focus, like the main focus, I'm just going to glue this one down. And there's my card. I hope that you have gotten inspired to create a card of some sort. I showed you how I go about it, and maybe it will help you, and maybe you have a better idea. Either way, I appreciate you joining me, and have a great rest of the weekend. Bye now.